Aemond is bleeding out at Harrenhal, Rhaenyra has the Iron Throne, and Daemon is about to get sent on a mission that could force him to choose between his queen and his own blood. That is not a normal episode setup. That is the kind of setup where House of the Dragon usually starts ruining people's lives in very expensive ways. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Breakdown Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Now, House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 3, looks like the real beginning of Rhaenyra's reign, and in my opinion, that makes it much more dangerous than a battle episode. Battles are simple. Someone wins, someone loses, and dragons make everyone else regret being born. But ruling is where people actually change, and this trailer feels like it is less interested in asking whether Rhaenyra can sit the throne and more interested in asking what sitting the throne is going to turn her into. So let's break down the biggest theories and predictions, because this episode feels like it is setting up 4 major problems all at once. And I actually want to start with Aemond, because if Alis heals him, the entire board changes. Right now, he looks close to death, vulnerable for maybe the first time in a long while, and that should make him the easiest target on the map. If Daemon wanted him dead, this would be the perfect moment. If Rhaenyra wanted one major threat removed, this would be the cleanest way to do it.
Well, that is exactly why I do not think he dies here. It feels too easy. And House of the Dragon does not usually choose easy when it can choose emotionally catastrophic instead. So, here is my prediction. Alis switches sides. Not because she suddenly believes in Aemond, but because Daemon already showed her that he does not respect what she wants. She wants Harrenhal. She wants standing. She wants a future that is not built on being used and dismissed by men with famous names. Daemon basically laughed at that idea. Aemond, on the other hand, might actually be willing to trade power for survival. And if Alis sees that, then healing him becomes leverage, not loyalty, leverage. That is why I think Episode 3 is where Alis starts moving away from Daemon and toward the Greens. Not out of love, not out of ideology, but because ambition in this world rarely survives without choosing a side. Now let's move to Rhaenyra, because this is where the episode gets really interesting. She has the throne now. The crown is on her head. The room is watching, and suddenly the war changes shape. Before this, she was fighting to become queen. Now she has to prove she deserves to remain one. That is a completely different kind of pressure. The trailer keeps showing her surrounded by people watching, listening, judging, waiting to see what kind of ruler she's going to be. And after killing Sir Otto Hightower herself, she's already crossed one line. She knows what it feels like now to personally take a life in order to secure power. That matters, because there are really only 2 directions she can go from here. Either that act haunts her and makes her hesitate the next time blood is required, or it becomes easier.
And honestly, I think the trailer is pointing toward the second option. Not because she wants cruelty for its own sake, but because Westeros is not giving her the conditions to rule gently. Her father could get away with softness because his reign was built on relative stability. Rhaenyra is inheriting open fracture, public doubt, military threats, and personal grief all at once. So even if she wants to rule with thought and restraint, the world around her is pushing her toward fear, anger, and force. That is why Alicent's warning is so important. She is basically telling Rhaenyra that ruling will ask her to shut a part of herself away, that there are things she will have to do that the current version of her would hate. And in my opinion, that is one of the most important ideas in the entire trailer. The throne is not just a seat. It is a machine that changes whoever touches it long enough. Now here is the what if that makes this episode even darker. What if Rhaenyra is not only trying to justify her father's faith in her? What if she is also trying to justify the deaths of her sons by becoming the kind of ruler who can make those losses mean something? Because if that is where her mind is going, then grief stops being sadness and becomes policy. That is terrifying. Now, let's switch to Ormund Hightower, because I think he may quietly become one of the most important drivers of the war. A lot of the trailer's military pressure seems to be coming through him, and that makes sense.
He has what everyone else desperately needs right now: scale, men, structure, movement.
He is not just another name in the Green camp. He is one of the only people in a position to turn Green ideology into practical pressure across the realm. And then there is Daeron. This is where the threat level rises, because as long as Daeron exists, the Greens still have another figure the realm can rally behind. If Aegon is missing and Aemond is unstable or wounded, Daeron becomes politically valuable fast. And if Ormund is the one moving him into relevance, then the Blacks have a serious problem. In my opinion, Episode 3 is where the Daeron conversation becomes real, not abstract, not future setup, immediate. And Rhaenyra being asked to deal with him could become one of her first major tests as queen. Can she order the death of her own blood if that blood threatens her rule? Because once you cross from defending your claim into preemptively killing family to secure it, you do not come back from that emotionally. Now let's talk about Daemon's mission, because I think this could be the most painful thread in the episode. Rhaenyra wants answers about Sheepstealer and whoever was riding that dragon at the gullet. She does not know that the person she may be sending Daemon after is his own daughter.
That is what makes this setup so brutal. It puts Daemon between duty and blood. And this show loves forcing Targaryens into choices where every option damages them. Now, if I am being honest, I do not trust Daemon to choose fatherhood over politics. He has never been written as a soft, emotionally available parent. He is more likely to rationalize something ruthless if it helps stabilize Rhaenyra's position. So I would not be surprised at all if this mission becomes one of the first real fractures between what the Queen needs and what Daemon can still live with afterward. Now, let me lock in one prediction. I think Episode 3 is not going to be remembered for one huge battle. It's going to be remembered as the hour where everyone's emotional direction gets fixed into place. Rhaenyra starts hardening. Daemon gets pulled into a morally impossible mission. Alicent moves toward Aemond. Ormund pushes the war outward, and Daeron becomes a problem too dangerous to ignore. Before I wrap up, let's do a fast-fire breakdown. Aemond survives because Alicent needs leverage, not a corpse. Rhaenyra's first real challenge is not taking the throne, it's keeping it. Her grief is not calming down, it's becoming fuel. Ormund is the military pressure valve of the green side.
Daeron's existence changes the succession problem immediately. Daemon's next task may force him to choose between loyalty and family, and the throne itself stops feeling like a destination and starts feeling like the machine that is going to change everyone who touches it. But anyway, that is my breakdown of House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 3 theories and predictions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Rhaenyra can keep the throne without becoming cruel? Or is Episode 3 already the beginning of that transformation? I will catch you in the next one.